Hi, welcome to Barvotti's 45th live, is it the 45th? 46th, sorry, live screening of tools for creatives. I'm Phoebe Bradbury, and today I will be demonstrating some of the tools that I use every day in my art studio. I wouldn't want to be without them, and I find new uses for them all the time. There will be promotional offers during the program, and the program codes will be active during the demonstration and for about half an hour after. The current time is 12 noon Central, February the 9th, 2022. Right now, the promotions are only available on amzn.to. Am I ready?
Yeah, you're ready.
Oh, okay. We're going to be doing things a little differently today. Usually, and in a moment, I will do it. Usually I start by showing you some of the work that we've done during the class, and I'm actually already set up for the first thing I'm going to do, which is a little different. So I'm going to go back to the work and pick up there. And this is the picture you saw coming in. I'm just going to make sure that it's focused and zoomed to the right side. Yeah, and this is called Blue Bridge. So it's one of the earlier ones that we put to music. And it uses some of our special tools that we've made where we've gouged out ends and made parallel markers and that kind of thing. So you can see that's not the tools that we're marketing, but I should show you those too, because otherwise you think we only sell toothy tools. Where are my good ones? Here they are. So these are the mottlers that we market, and we also have sets. It comes in 3 different sizes, but right now we only have the 7mm in stock. But they are sets of 5 tools. So getting back to some of the work that we've done in here, this is done on Yupo paper. The reason I'm talking about Yupo is a plastic archival paper, and so if you get good at doing some of the things we're going to show you today, if I get time, because I'm actually going to be doing something a little different. You will be able to make these quite quickly. So these are both on Yupo paper. They're made with, this one would have been made with the 1-inch, and it was made in about, a minute or two, that one. So here's another one, and this is what I call our secret message one. And we're coming up for Halloween, so this might be something some people might be interested. Maybe not in this particular message, but basically what you do is you fool around and make a painting. If you're going to use it, you should probably do it on Yupo paper or a better paper. Or if you use other paper, it should have a slick, non-absorbent surface, or not very absorbent surface, because I'll explain that in a little bit. So this one has a secret message on it. And I'll have to show it to you, I guess, because it says, I cannot love you. So that's very ambiguous for, I was going to say for Halloween, for Valentine's Day. But it's kind of a fun, and it can be, of course, be interpreted 2 ways. You can say, I cannot love you any more than I already do, because I just love you so much. Or, I cannot love you, I'm leaving. So, anyway, I don't suggest that for Valentine's Day. I'm just suggesting the secret message. This one is Orange Regrets. And this one will be shown quick on the way out. And I want to show you a few that were done on the paper that I use the most, which is it's a freezer paper, the kind that you Goodness sakes. I just stepped on what I was preparing there. But we'll get a few of these out here. So, ooh, there's my favorite. Okay. So these are done on non-archival freezer paper. So I'm not sure if I've got that quite big enough there. So this is done very quickly. I think it looks like a 1.5 inch, oops, that's a 1/8, no, that's, yeah, 1.5 inch tool here, and also scraped through with these rather, I think in this case it was this one, tools that I've made. And this was just on going out, and I thought, well, I have to do something. So I just did that, and I thought, well, that's terrible. And next day when I looked at it, I really liked it. I do think I have it upside down, though. There, that's better, much better. Anyway, this is the freezer paper. It's got a plastic side, and it's got a paper side. And these tools are just wonderful for playing on the plastic side. If you put it on the paper side, the paint, especially if you're using acrylic like I am, all the stuff I use is acrylic. I don't use oils or solvents, but that doesn't mean you can't use them with these tools. So that's, I haven't named that yet, so that's one of my favorite ones this year. Where's the other one? Oh, I put them behind me. This is the green painting. Are we showing this fast later? Or?
We can.
We can, okay. So we've got a fast painting of that. We'll probably show during the course of the day.
Can run it any time.
Oh, do you want to run it right now?
Yeah, sure.
Preben's going to run it right now, and it'll give me a chance. Okay, so we're back, and yesterday, it was Monday, for the very first time we did a poured painting, which is something I've explored for a couple of years, haven't done it for a year now. So this was the first one coming, whoops, if I got it upside down. Goodness. Oh, that's the right way. So we did one yesterday, or Wednesday, and I think we might, if time permits, we might have time to do one today. What I am going to be doing, though, is going over the preparation of these supports that you can use for just about anything. But I'm going to focus on using the mottlers for putting down a coat of gesso, just a plain white coat. And I'm also going to show you the difference between two qualities of gesso. I have the one that I like and use, and the one that I'm not going to give you the brands, because I'm not supposed to talk about brands of other things in my products, but this is something, I'll show you what to look for. And this is one I got when I couldn't get the brand I wanted, and it just meant that I had to do it 2 or 3 times, and it never did look quite as good as I wanted it to look. So today we're going to explore that. So is that all of my, we're not going to do, what do I do next? These things? Do I do these, or we've shown our picture? Oh no, were you going to do, I'm just going to go over the mottlers for a minute here, because we are going to use them, and I will demonstrate using them, but today I'm mostly, I think, I'm going to be demonstrating on an upright easel, which I haven't done in here before. Okay, so oops, that's the new one. This is oops, that's the same. That's a good one. I'm starting to get my brand new tools mixed up with the ones I use to show the work, and they're hard to tell because they're very easy to clean. You just clean. I clean them with a damp rag. If I do get paint, when I get paint on them, I don't dip them in water and slosh around. I just take a damp rag and wipe it off, and I will be showing you that today. So these are the 3-inch, the 2.5-inch, oops, the 2-inch, the 1-inch, the 1.5-inch, and the 1-inch. So I think that's probably pretty clear. What I want to show you is how beautiful the blades are. Just put this here so you can see against it, and I think, yeah, see, very flexible. It's a medium firm silicone. It really stands up. The business end of these blades is this very sharp, straight blade, which means that when you put it down, if you want, you can make very nice, straight, incisive marks. You can make also many, many kinds of expressive marks, as we've already shown in the examples. And they have a metal ferrule. I've used these for years, and I haven't seen any rust on them. So I'm not sure if they're stainless, but they're sure pretty good. But I don't abuse my tools. I do clean them every night and put them. I don't put them away, but I clean them so they're ready to go the next day. The handles, I thought at first were wooden, but they are not. They're a compressed plastic or nylon fabric. I'm going to show you the example of a wooden one here, and you'll notice this is about the same as some of these that I've had for years that still look the same. It's the same age. I've had it for about the same time. And the silicone is a little hardened. It's gotten a bit soft. And I took advantage of that fact by making a very precise line out here, which I don't use that much. Notice that there's cracks in it, and the wood is splitting, and it's absorbing water. So not all of these kinds of tools are the same. The other thing I really like about my tools are this hole at the end, because then you have a place when you're using it to hang it up, and that will keep it for a long time. Just the fact that it's not, sitting around in water or, drying paint and stuff. So that makes a big difference. And the other thing I want to show you about these is that when we compare the silicone blades in the smallest, I can see it on there, yeah, okay, and the largest, they're identical. The blades on all of them are from the same medium firm silicone. There's been no skimping on them. The size, the base is the same, the length is the same, and they're exactly the same quality. So that's something I appreciate after buying art tools over the years. I often find if I get a smaller version of a bigger tool, I get something that's not quite as good. These are our biggest seller, actually, and the average, the price right now is about, even without the promo is 25% off of what we normally sell it, so it's a good price. And the other tools that we have, I'm just going to go over these quickly. I will demonstrate them through today. We haven't been able to show them very much because we didn't have any in stock, but they are showing up now, and we're really, really happy. So these are the, I actually can see them better on the monitor than I can see them through the camera. So This is a pointed one. What's it called? Here it is. If you go to our website, we list all of the different ends in each of them. And, oops, that's upside down. That's great. So this one is called the taper point chisel. You can see that. So I think this is on our website, this particular one, yeah. And each one tells you what kinds of things you can do with it. Because we're going to do so many things today, I think, I'm not going to go over all of them, but the taper point is good for, let's get it, charcoal. Actually, that looks pretty easy to read. Blend charcoal and pastel, etc. The round cup, that's this one here. I'm going to put all the rest of them down so I have one at a time. So you can see that. That's it. Yeah. So the cup is rounded. And this is a good one for moving heavy paint. That's this one, blending charcoal, controlling thick color, that sort of thing. This is the chisel point, flat chisel. And if you look across the end of it here, that dimension across the flat side, that's what is 7 millimeters. And in each of our 5-piece sets, they have all of these ends on them. It doesn't matter if it's 3 millimeter or a centimeter. They all have the same set of ends on them. This is a cup chisel, and it's very good. It's good for carving, carving paint, adjusting contours and edges. And then the one, what's the other one? Have I got all of them? Yep. Pardon me?
Did you do the angle?
Oh yeah, the angle chisel. I like that one. And I use this a lot in my large paintings. Because I paint quite large myself, I don't often use tools that are this small, but I do like to have a few that I can use. And the benefit of these over brushes, both in applying and removing paint, is that you just have to wipe them with a damp rag and they are absolutely clean. You can use them again immediately in a different color without contaminating the color. So there's a major benefit in time when I use these types of tools. I don't normally apply paint this small. I usually have something like this or like this, but the idea is the same. So great time savers, wonderful workhorses in the studio. And I guess that's it. Very easy to clean. Do not use them. You can use them with silicone, but it's very important that you don't leave them sitting in solvents, and that if you do use, and you can use solvents, did I say you can use them with silicone? They are silicone. Silicone dissolves in solvents, and the way you look after your tools in a situation where you're using cold wax or oil painting where there's solvents is just rinse them with water and after you've used them in solvents, and that will prevent anything from happening. They'll stay the same. If you leave them sitting in solvents, the silicone will soften, and you can reclaim them by putting them back in water, but I have no idea how many times that would work. It's best just to always rinse them with water. Okay. And I'm going to introduce, did I talk at all about the poured painting? No, I didn't. This is another painting that we did.
Yeah, you talked about it a little bit.
I did?
Yeah.
Okay. And we are perhaps going to try another one today if we have the time. Yeah, I know I said I was going to talk about that, how they're made. Okay, next I want to introduce Sandy Welsh, an online artist. On Instagram, and she's using a 1-inch. First she uses a one. Which am I here?
Go to this camera, yeah.
I'm here.
Stay there, yeah.
Okay. First, she uses a 1-inch modeler to put in the background part of an ocean she's painting, and she's a wonderful painter. And then she uses, demonstrates using the 3-inch, where she's just making expressive marks at the back of that painting. Thank you, Sandy Welsh.
Let's see. I'm going to go back to my little rubber spatula here. She had that big ball of dark. And then we'll go over it again with a lighter blue, but this will be underneath. So are we getting to look like this ocean? See? This is really cool. Where do you get them? Oh, I ordered them from Amazon. They look like, where's my big one? I think they're called shapers. I've got 2 of them. I got the bigger one. They're not expensive either. I got this one. I think if you just put in paint shapers, this will come up. They're not, and you can use the tips if you want to sort of scratch out. Yeah, they had a couple different sizes, but I like them. It's the first time I've started using them.
Oh, that's all right. This is the weave painting. Do I come back and stand here? Okay. And I did it while I was at art school, so probably 15 years ago. You can see the scraping through in red at the bottom, the yellow bands at the top, marked by scraping through the dark layer, the surface dark layer, into the yellow layer below. The painting is also covered with a layer of fluorescent vertical and horizontal green lines, which at some point I will demonstrate, possibly today. I don't think so, though. But in the next demo, what I'm going to do is talk about a little bit about preparation of the boards and the using of gesso to prepare your support for whatever you're going to be doing. And in this case, I'm going to be talking about like preparing, well, this funny little painting. Is it here now?
It is showing behind you.
Okay, so this is not a painting. This was a sort of like a fool around thing. So we're gonna practice covering it with gesso. I'm going to show you 2 types of gesso. One that I think is very good, and another that I think you're probably wasting your time if you use. But and we're going to be applying it with the modelers, and we will sort of. It's not exactly winging it, but we will go with the flow. We may have time to do another poured painting because I have the paints ready and stuff like that. We did the one the other day, and I'm reasonably pleased with it, but part of the problem was the background support was not, it had a few marks in it, and it hadn't been properly prepared with gesso. So Can I go now, or can I go over here? Okay, so here's one of the, I'll put it right in the middle. And I'm going to go down and show the support. And if this was properly prepared, like smooth, you don't really have to gesso them. You can buy really nice ones. But I make all mine, or did in the past. And I put staples in them and cut them on a chop saw. And I get Home Depot to cut. I live in Mexico, so they will do this, to cut me all the little 8-inch squares they can out of a piece of very thin plywood. So they're very good quality, but I don't always buy those. But these are both made by me. And most of the ones that I did for quite a while were made by me. This is the one we did yesterday. And, oops, that's very close. These are all very close. Okay. I got to take my gloves off. My gloves aren't allowing me to use my my zoom. Okay, there we go. Let's go out here. So you can see this isn't necessarily one that I would say was a particularly good one, but what was good about it is that after 2.5 years of not doing any, it came out all right. And I should show you one that is a little better. I have them around here somewhere. Is that it there? No. Okay. Oh, my husband's standing there. Well, here's one that really needs to be done. Oh, here they are. Sorry, it took me so long. This is one that was done a few years ago. And I think of this as a much better one, but we're going to zoom in. And you can see how detailed it is. And it's completed and ready to be marketed. I haven't marketed it because that's not my strong point. I am going to be putting it on the originals out. I have marketed this particular image in, 20 times the size. What is 3 by? This is 8 inches by 8 inches, and these were like 1 meter by 1 meter. So, and so you can see that this particular one, I take it out again, is covered with a sheen. So I cover them with epoxy, so they're almost like well, not a piece of furniture, but they don't need they don't need a frame or anything like that. They're complete. The sides have where the paint rolled down, so that sort of thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is show you how to prepare the board a little better than what I did for yesterday's one. But the main point here is going to be about gesso, and gesso is just a inexpensive white acrylic paint. I think it's used with it can be used under paintings for oil paints as well. And I didn't mean to show the name of it, but this is a Canadian paint. So, and I have never really used it except. And one of the things you'll notice is that it's very sloppy. It's not pasty at all. I don't really want it to be a heavy, thick paste, but it's very sloppy. And it would take about 2 or 3, oops, that's a little bit of. So when you're cleaning your tools, even if they're dry, if you just take a damp cloth, it just peels off. So as you can see, this is very, very sloppy. It's nice. 3 or 4 coats would work, and I don't even really use coats for this type of work. If I'm painting a painting on linen or or heavy canvas, I always have several layers of gesso, but wood, it's not really necessary. So this is the one I like, and I'm not going to mix the two of them up because I don't want the first one to dilute the second, but you can see possibly that this one, it's in a smaller jar, but it's not slopping around. There's no bubbles on the surface. And we'll just see if it's different. And I didn't test this before, so I'm hoping it is. So it's more like a very soft toothpaste. And you can make the other one better by adding marble dust. If you want to go out and get marble dust, you can usually buy it at a lumber yard. Where did I buy that last time? I bought it in Mexico.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think at a stonemasons or something, but
Yeah.
it's not very expensive. It does work because that's the thing that sort of glues it together and fills in the hole. So I kind of think this is the better one. But what I want you to notice is this tool was great for putting it on. It's very mucky right now, so I'm going to clean it off. And I'm going to use a bigger one. So that's to demonstrate how to use these. So it seems that today I have my rags or my claws are a little wetter than they need to be. So I've got to remember to put it in front of you so that I'm not missing. Okay, now I could go right to the 3-inch because that would be the fastest, is just to go like this. And I just scrape across. And I'd scrape across again. Oh, look, so you overlap so that you don't get these marks. And if you don't want to get any marks as you're going, one thing you can do is you can wipe the paint off on something else. And then you can, oops. You can also turn it and do the sides. Now, what I did notice is that maybe the cheaper one had more actual paint in it, but I don't think it is going to fill the holes as well, because it's not about getting the color off for me, it's about getting a smooth surface. So this, and you can even go right to the other side and do a little bit along there so it looks the same, but I obviously don't do those things necessarily. So the goal here was to get the major wooden cracks filled in. And the next step would be to go over it with a little a piece of sandpaper or a sanding, a foam sanding block. That'll probably just do a real good job of it. It is important with poured paintings that the surface is flat and that and square and oriented and level when you pour. Otherwise, all the paint will go off in one end. So I'm kind of overdoing that now. So and I could, if I wanted to, put more paint on, like lay it down here. So I want to use this one just to make it a bit thicker, my first layer. And, just understanding that I would go over it with a sanding block after. My preference actually is to go fairly thin the first. I don't do a lot of this because I don't worry about these things that much. I don't want to put it back in the same jar. But I don't want to throw it away. Here we go. So for this to be a very fine surface, I would, okay, where's my, It's easier to demonstrate this when I'm using color because you can see the color on the surface, but now it's white on white. I'm sure you can see a little bit of it. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's easy. I can see it in the mic. So I would go swipe at an angle, remove the color, swipe at an angle, remove the color, and then I would just do it again. In a couple hours, I just come in, take my brush out, and do it again. Or I would probably just give it a quick rub with the sanding block between, and I would end up with a really nice flat surface. Okay. So that's that one. Now the other, where will I put that? On the ground. I've got plastic on the ground, thank goodness. I'm going to show you now, I'm going to go to this other thing and see, wait a minute, maybe what I'll do is, no, I can't take that out. Let's see if I can apply this way. Oop, not that one. How does that look? Can you see it? Okay. Obviously, well, to me, this is a painting I want to cover up, but we were just playing with dropping drips through it and stuff like that. And we can even maybe do some of that here after we've got the... Now, this is not a very flat surface, and I see little wrinklies in it. This is a very cheap canvas. Does that mean you can't make a nice painting on it? Well, no, you can. You don't have to have the really expensive ones. But I buy these for demoing things like this, and just for the same reason that I use the freezer paper for using for showing all the ways that marks you can make with these lovely little tools. Now, obviously, I'm using the smallest tool I needed, and this is a case where it might be ideal. With gesso, it might be the time that you might use water because gesso just gets everywhere, and it's gritty. I'm going to go back to the big one, which I've got clean now. I suppose you're getting to see the top of my head, yeah. So for a first coat, you can just see how nice it goes on. And I'm going to wipe it off so we don't get all those little, even if we do, we can go again the other way. But this is a very fast way to cover a board with gesso. And here I'm going to go like this. Oops. I think rather than showing you how it's supposed to be done, I'm showing you how I do it, which they might not be right. I think the best way is to overlap, put a fair amount on, overlap, and then do a pretty thin coat first. It's kind of fun just to fool around for a little bit while you're on it. So, oh boy. I'm trying out a new easel, so I have never had one that I could change like this so easily. Okay, I'm going to take that off. It's almost like I need a pail to do this with. Okay. Or a jar or a lid. So doing this kind of stuff means that I'm actually planning on moving to my larger studio, which isn't quite ready yet, and I will be getting a huge, probably the biggest one I've ever had, easel made locally here that will allow me to do like 2 or 3 foot wide, or 2 or 3 foot wide, 2 or 3 meters wide, and at least 2 meters tall boards without them wiggling and jiggling. And it's going to be an easel that it has counterweights in it, so I will be able to move the board up and down very easily. Can you see what I'm doing, Previn? I can't see myself doing it while I'm doing it, which is a little, I don't know whether it's looks like we've made a terrible mess, or, oh no, it's not too bad. So as long as you understand that this is coat number 1, and sometimes all you ever really need is coat number 1. If you're just preparing a board for painting something over it, you may not even want to bother putting a coat on. Depends on the kind of artist you are. If I think there's something interesting under there, I might put a coat of another color and then scrape through to the one underneath, or all of the various things that you can do with these. So, is this perfect? Well, putting on gesso is one of those things, thin in many layers, I suppose. Gonna just tip it a bit. It's not too bad, considering what it looked like before. So what I might do now, just because I feel like playing, and oh, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to put a little layer of drips along here. I might even put another layer here. And another layer there. Now, am I painting right now? No, I'm playing. I'm playing to see what's happening, because I know about a few things that will happen. And oops, I know it's going to drip on the floor, and because it's acrylic, well, it should be washed up within the first few hours when you do that. That's why. Okay, so what's happening? So we could make it tilt a little bit more like this. This is why I like this easel so much, because I did a lot of painting using drips when I was in school, and the only easel I had was to put it up against a wall, because I hung my paintings, and they would be big, like 3 or 4 meters. And something like this I might do. I didn't know I was going to do this today, but I'm also going to add a little bit of water here, just to see what happens. Not everywhere. See, actually what I'm having now is an experience of, oh, I remember doing this. I remember what used to happen. Let's put some paper on the floor under here. And so this is kind of fun for me. Oops, let's put it over here a little bit more. So you can see, I don't know if you've ever gone to some art exhibitions, but some modern art exhibitions, you might get something where there's all kinds of drips and stuff through it, and done much more artistically than this, and probably with much more thought, because I didn't give much thought about it ahead of time. And I'm not going to put it there. So what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm going to scrape through, after it's had a bit of a chance to dry a little bit. I'm going to scrape through, and what's going to happen, I believe, is that it's going to even take the gesso off because the gesso was still wet. It's got to dry a little bit. And we're going to go right down through this level. I kind of don't like that all the marks are going that direction. So I think I'm going to take this, if I can, and turn it and see if I can make them go in this direction. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Oh, God, there we get a grid. So if you're a person that likes grids, that's me, or that's me. I don't know which thing I'm pointing at. So there's a grid. And you might even want to turn around and go in the other direction. So I'm going to take it right around. I'm going to let that sit for a while. And I see where I want more. I want more over here, so I'm going to turn it up this way. And just hope some goes down there. And if I wanted to, I could let it drip diagonally too. Why not? Let's just see what happens. So that could almost be a map painting, right? Kind of fun. I'd like a little bit more down there, so I'm going to... Uh-oh, I've got to stop doing this. I've got to get my next parts ready. What is my next part? I think we'll put the gesso away now. How are we doing for time? Okay. Let's take it up like this again. There's lots of yellow there. So while we're waiting for that to dry just a bit, because it's too early to scrape through, and the drips on the floor, I should have had some special paper to catch them. They're beautiful blue and green. How are we doing there, Preben? Do you want to show one of the paintings, just to give us a minute to get ready for? I'm just going to show some of the things. I won't do a poured painting. I'm just going to show the use of the tools on the freezer paper. Okay? Have you got one you can show?
So we can do overlapping dots or...
Do the purple one.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I'd like to introduce Julie Pritchard in a short video. She's going to tell you about her favorite tools right now, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to go over a few of the things that we can do and the marks we can make with the mottlers and maybe the shapers. And then I will go and finish doing some stuff to this grid painting. Okay.
All of these products are paid for by me. I am not receiving any paid sponsorship for any of these mentions. Next up, from Barvotti.com are these rubber scraping brushes. I really like these to add texture and to smooth paint on my surface. They come in a variety of sizes. These two are my most favorite tools right now.
Devil painting. Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay, we're back to demonstrate some of these mottlers, the 3-inch, 2.5 to 1.5. Can't find my 1-inch one, but we're going to use a different kind of 1-inch one. So let's just look at my hands. Let's just get started. So this is a quinacridone red. It's a professional artist color. Professional artists paint. And what I'm going to do is just show you how this is on that very slick surface, how you can spread the paint. Okay, am I right in the middle? I hope I am, almost. Okay. And so I'm just laying down a nice surface to play with here. And then I'm going to scrape through just to show you how clean it can scrape through. Very nice and clean. And here you have the mass tone of the paint, and depending on how hard you scrape, you can have different tones of, if you've got a plain paint on there and you want to have a look at it and all the things it can do. These are really great to figure that out. So these are the different tones of the paint. But the paint as it comes out of the tube, that's the mass tone. You probably know that. I'm just so used to teaching. I can't help myself. Here we go. Some neat marks. These are called Phoebe's flags. Well, I've been trying to make different marks out of this, and it's just every time I try, I learn how to make new ones. So that's the 3.5 inch. I can't spend too much time on this because I want to go back. This is the 2.5 inch. Oh no, that's not 2.5 inch. This is the 2 inch. So you can make nice boxes or all sorts of wiggly lines. I really want to go back and finish that other painting. I really do. And I think I'm going to do that. And we will just leave this demo. We do it regularly. Sometimes I think people have seen it too many times. But we do like to show the different marks. The best way to find out how many different marks is to get one and just play. And that's what I do. And I'm finding I've enjoyed it so much that I'm getting very excited about getting my new artist's studio. Oh, goodness. Have I got a picture of the easel here? This is a bit of a picture of the easel that I'm going to have. It's going to be a monster. And it's going to be made with hardwoods from, my arm is yellow, hardwoods from the Yucatan Peninsula. And what's the kind of wood that we're going to be using, Previn?
Cedar.
Oh,
Tropical cedar.
it's tropical cedar, and it's actually, I would never make one, well, you could make it out of cedar in Canada, but my dad was a logger, and cedar was not something that you would make, and it wouldn't be a hardwood either, so it's just how things are named differently in different places, I think, more than anything. But So I'm very excited about that. We have to get the fasteners for it. A little hard to get here, but we are going to do that. So we're going to move to this painting here, Previn,
Yeah.
and we're going to just see what happens because we don't know. And I'm just going to start. Okay. That's a little underpinning into the road. And I might just place it back on here. Now, it's very likely that this is not at all the kind of painting you would paint, or maybe even that I would paint, but I really like what happens when you scrape it off. Oops. So that's using my big 3-inch scraper. Now, I do have these other ones that I've played with, and I don't know whether they're going to make much of a difference. See, this is the one that has the blade. Is this in focus, this one? Okay, I'm just going to go down with this toothy one. Maybe I'll go right down. See what happens. This is the kind of painting that I would play with for quite a long time. I'd probably squirt water on it. I might make wiggly lines. I don't know. I think it's basically a blue and green painting, because if you got a blue painting and you put yellow on it, there might be a bit of yellow left over later. So the parts that I don't like right now are the really hard parts that I put on earlier. Actually, it's very weird. It looks like somebody's plaid shirt. Now, the next thing I want to do I'm not sure it'll show it, but I don't have a spray bottle. I say shaking it. I have this little, I'm going to put the drips on again. This is like it's raining. Okay. Now I want to see what happens when we just take whatever I can off. Look we got an orange almost there. How did we get that? Oh, because there was red on this. Boy, you know, I don't think we've really improved that painting from what it was before. It was pretty ugly before. Now, we might have waited too long. I'm not sure. I don't think we did. Right, we're just having fun here. Oh, we're getting back to the original painting underneath. Ah, well, that's why it's not so great, because it's... Okay. That's why we had those colors. Well, if nothing else, this is a demonstration on how you could make interesting grid marks, if that's something you are so inclined to do. I have obviously been inclined to do that for many years. So to close the show, what I'm going to do, I don't have a piece of paper towel, do I? Nope. I'm just going to put a nice coat of gesso on it. The good gesso. And we'll see what we can, how we can play with maybe a little bit better next time, because it'll be dry and I won't get sidetracked in the middle with my desire to make a grid, because I won't be able to do it. Okay, let's just put that on there. Doesn't matter if it goes on perfectly colored. It's just, let's get it on there and erase what's not necessarily erase, but get it ready for the next evolution. I once made a painting. I made a painting in art school once where I repainted it like this. It must have been, several times. People would come and check at my place, or my part of where I lived in art school, and say, "Oh, is that what you did? Oh, that painting's changed. You completely redid it." Yes, and then the art. We used to make a little bit of money for art school by selling the paintings that we'd done, and so I had put it in the art school show and sale. And by that time it was gray on pink with overlay. No, it was gray on white with overlaying pink grids. And I sold it. Apparently, he was a member of Parliament and he wanted something different for his office. And the name of the painting was Pink Explosion. Can you show it?
Yeah.
Oh, my husband can show you that painting.
There is.
Where is it? Oh yeah, that's it. See, that was many, many evolutions. And it was about 1.5 meters tall. And I think I sold it for about $500, which was amazing in art school. And I had so much fun making it. It kept me busy for so many days. So you can see I haven't completely obliterated it, but I've got to the point where you might actually have an idea by looking at it that you might do something different before it was just those yellow lines. We went to 6 minutes after. Okay. Can you go here, Previn?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So this is just to say, next time you come, we'll play more with this individually on the board. And I have no idea what we're going to be doing, but we may do some board paintings since I have some stuff mixed up for it. So have a great week. Is this where I say goodbye?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining us today. You can find us here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Central to play like this and to answer your questions. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Friday.
Let's see. I'm going to go back to my little rubber spatula here. She had that big ball of dark. And then we'll go over it again with a lighter blue, but this will be underneath. So are we getting to look like this ocean? See? This is really cool. Where do you get the... Oh, I ordered them from Amazon. They look like, where's my big one? I think they're called shapers. I got two of them. I got the bigger one. They're not expensive either. I got this one. I think if you just put in paint shapers, this will come up. They're nice, and you can use the tips if you want to sort of scratch out. Yeah, they had a couple different sizes, but I like them. It's the first time I've started using them.
All of these products are paid for by me. I am not receiving any paid sponsorship for any of these mentions. Next up, from Barvotti.com are these rubber scraping brushes. I really like these to add texture and to smooth paint on my surface. They come in a variety of sizes. These two are my most favorite tools right now.